Hi folks, Tim here. Welcome back to Elmendorf Acres. It is a beautiful Saturday, just into the afternoon now as I'm recording this. And for those of you who went out this morning, hopefully you got what you went after. I certainly didn't. I didn't even see a squirrel this morning. But anyway, I'm in the woodyard right now. I figured what better way to spend a beautiful Saturday like today than to fire up our old-fashioned type buzzsaw. Now, we got this from a friend of mine who picked up a tractor and a couple other implements from an older gentleman. So the only thing I've done so far is I hooked it up to the tractor and I oiled and lubricated some things just so we're not going at everything dry, which is always not great for the machinery. So I oiled some stuff up and hooked it up, and we're going to do a quick test on this thing to see how well it works. And I got a whole huge pile, probably about a cord of pole wood I need to cut through. So we figured it would be a good day to start messing around with that, learn a little bit about this saw, and just have some fun on a beautiful Saturday. So this particular machine is what we call a buzz saw, or at least that's what I've always called it growing up, is a buzz saw. And it looks a little tired. I would say it's probably not that tired, other than it's just sat around an awful lot. Now, most of the paint is in decent shape for its age. It's just kind of worn off from sitting, which is sometimes worse for machinery than anything else. But you see at one point they put an adapter on down here, so it fits right onto my Massey, which is nice. Like I said, I've got everything all oiled up and lubed up, and we're going to see how well it works. The blade's pretty rusty, but it feels pretty sharp still. Table here. All right, we lay our logs here. Let me actually get something here. All right. So basically how these work is you lay your log here, and when this is running, I want to slide it this way so we can actually see how it works. You push the table, and it cuts it. And the cut log falls off that side, your cut piece. Now I got my tote right here so I can chuck things into that as I get some build up. So you can see Ford Tractors Equipment, Edwards Farm Equipment in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Old school too. No area code, just the 7-digit. So not super old school, but old enough. And it's a lumberjack wood saw, Hamilton Equipment, model number 100. And the serial number looks like it's really hard to read, but if I come in from this angle, I can see 1534 or somewhere, something like that. And you can, it's still got the sticker on the blade here. It's Curtis Saw Division, Gemco Tools, Seneca Falls, New York. So, you know, kind of semi-antique that we're pulling into the wood yard here, but something different, something that we're going to have some fun with, hopefully. And we get a lot of this pole wood, especially as we're working on clearing up the woods a little bit. You can see I've got some piles over here. This first pile is all pole wood that can go through that buzz saw. It's a little bit nicer, hopefully a little easier than running the chainsaw with it. But as we get things worked on around the wood yard here, you see there's a lot of small trees in here. We've cut a lot out already. This was an old wood road that I'm working on right now. It comes up through this way where the truck is, then loops back around up by where we placed our shed. But this is an old wood road. We don't have a lot of bigger trees this size. We've got a lot of the small ones that are right here in front of it. And stuff like that is great to go through the old buzz saw. And yeah, it's a lot easier to put it through a chipper, but I don't feel right just chipping that stuff, and especially when it's birch. Birch burns pretty good. So let's fire the tractor up here, and we'll see how this does. Tractor's already warm, so I'm not going to let the glow plugs glow. There we go. All right. I'm going to set the camera up in the back, but this is my PTO, and as soon as I hit this, we should be live in the back here. So we don't really want this piece of wood here right now. Not a good idea. I don't have my normal hearing protection. I've got earplugs in today. I'm wearing the earplugs a lot more with running the leaf blowers all the time. It is loud, so these plugs work a lot better. I bought 100 pack, actually 200 of the plugs, but 100 individually wrapped sets that we can just keep in the trucks in the garage and stuff like that. It's really nice this time of year. You use it for a day, you chuck it and you go on the fresh ones. So let's set this up and see how it does. All right, here we go. We're gonna fire it up for the first time. The tractor is right around 1,000 RPMs. Oh, look at that. Well, that's great. Looks like it works. Let's bring it up to about 2,300. Funny how this looks. That sticker looks like it's spinning really slow. It's not. So we're going to put our first couple in here and see how it does. Well, what do you think? It looks like it cut pretty good. I'm happy with that. The teeth are definitely sharp. I mean, it cut right through, no problem. You can see that. So I'm gonna have to get used to what a 16-inch length looks like off of this machine. I'm really good with it when the logs are laying out and we're just cutting them. I can get pretty close between 15.5, 16.5, which is accurate enough for firewood. This is going to take a little bit of getting used to. I was actually thinking about just even putting a mark from the edge of this to say here, and that's my 16, and then I just know how far to slide it over each time. So I might do that, but we're going to pull some wood over here and try this thing out, really try it out. That was just a small piece of birch that I had laying around. We're going to try it with some bigger birch and maple and hickory next. Well, there you have it, the old-fashioned buzzsaw in action. So let's see here, what do we cut? Cut some 6.5 stuff. Let's see what this one was. Yep, right about in that same. So the biggest we cut was 6.5. The average we cut was this stuff here, which is about 3.5. Worked great for that. The blade's not even warm, and some of the rust is come off that first little bit, which is great. So I cut a couple pieces that were way bigger than I would usually bother putting through this, because the whole point for me of this is this smaller stuff, it's a little bit safer to do it stationary versus cutting it with the chainsaw. And I know that sounds funny because everybody sees these things and say, oh, they're horribly dangerous, blah, blah, blah. You can cut your leg off just as fast with a chainsaw. So as long as you keep your hand away from the spinning blade, you're doing okay. Keep it back here, the whole table moves, you're fine. You hold that log to the table and just push. Log falls off the end, good to go. But I wanted to see what it would do, so that's why we cut that little bit bigger stuff that we cut. Otherwise, the goal behind this thing is to be able to back it up to the pole wood pile and chunk up this stuff like this, put it right in an IBC tote, and it's good to burn. I don't have to touch it again. It's just a whole bunch of rounds, which people are okay with if it's mixed in with a whole load of split. They don't want a whole load of rounds. I actually don't mind burning the rounds. We'll mix it in as well at home. But if I have one tote of split and one tote of rounds at the house, I'm perfectly fine with that. And like I said, this was mostly birch, had a little bit of hickory and a little bit of maple in it, but it cut through everything fine. It worked great. This machine is probably from, I'm guessing now, but this would definitely be from the 90s, I would say, maybe even older than that. And it is in great working condition. So very happy with this purchase. We'll be playing with this a lot more. And I don't know if it's any quieter than a chainsaw. My guess would be the sound does not carry as much, so it's probably a little quieter for the neighbors. You do have to bring the tractor up to a high idle, that 2300 or so mark, to get that 540 for the PTO, but it cut through it no problem. It didn't bear down at all. I had one time where just me pushing on the log twisted it a little bit weird, but otherwise it worked real well. So that is the channel debut of the buzzsaw for the woodlot. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up this tote with what I cut and maybe cut some more, and hopefully wander around the woods here a little bit more today before opening day is all over. As always, thank you for watching our channel. We truly enjoy making these videos. I have a lot of fun. So I enjoy watching these videos as I edit them, and I'll put them up and my kids can enjoy watching them as well and kind of see what I do on a daily basis, or maybe not every day, but different days that we do different interesting jobs. So thank you for watching, and please like, subscribe, and share.